Afternoon. How are you all doing? Afternoon, Ian, Fletch, Kennelly, David, Julio, Virginia, Baggy, Gregors. How are we all doing? US dollar's woken up this afternoon. They've decided to buy all the oil. So the US dollar's gone through a massive rally. Indices have decided to collapse. Don't know what's happened there. I really don't know what's going on with this market, full stop at the moment. Every 5 minutes, it does something completely crazy. So Deputy US Energy Secretary Turk, the US DOE are to buy back as much oil as we possibly can. Why? Why do you want to buy it all back? You just sold it all. Half of your purpose in life is to export oil. Why do you want to buy it all back? Anyway, yeah, basically the US dollar's had a lovely little rally. The indices have decided to fall on their asses. Yeah, weird. Just weird. So we just hit ADR on the S&P. The NASDAQ is coming down to yesterday's lows, or rather yesterday's low, which is the previous day's low anyway as well. So that's approaching a support. S&P is at ADR. The Dow is on its way to ADR. So this is going to be an interesting open today because everything's gone nuts. If you weren't here for this morning's live room, a bank to load this morning, just about another 1.89%. Did some drawdown control. I'm long the US dollar at the moment, exposure-wise, so this is all good stuff. But I'm just going to see how it all plays out. We've had already on the US dollar Swiss. The Swiss franc went nuts this morning on its CPI figure. So the CPI came out as a negative 0.2. So the Swiss franc rather had a massive rally. So everything shot up against the Swissy this morning as much as it could, US dollar Swiss specifically. So I exited some of that and did some DD control. That's nearly 175 ADR today, US dollar Swiss. So big moves. But yeah, market's nuts at the minute. It's just flying all over. As you can see, like huge move down, huge move up, huge move down, undo the whole thing. It's just nuts, especially the US dollar and the Swiss. But that's what it does. So that was this morning's news. We had Lagarde talking at 2 o'clock. Still talking. We're 2:24 now. So that was the news on oil this morning. Lagarde has spoken, but there's nothing coming out in the news feed. So I'm assuming that she's just got some prepared speech which has got no impact at all because there's nothing coming out. So either that or she's delayed or something, but there's no impact from that at all. So the news we got to watch out for, we got the CPI for the yen. Doesn't tend to do a lot because obviously they have negative interest rates. So inflation isn't really as important for the yen. But we have got the rate announcement for the Aussies tomorrow morning. So that's the main thing to look at tomorrow morning. And then PMIs tomorrow afternoon. So fairly busy week ahead. We got 2 interest rates and we've got PMIs. And obviously it's non-farm payroll week, so it's the unemployment rate. So it's a busy old week this week. I'm not sure I want to get involved in these indices this afternoon. I don't quite know if we're going to have any legs left or whether we're just going to stall out down here. But tricky one. We'll see. Morning, afternoon, everybody else who haven't said hello to. Dion, XRUpdate.news, Mark, Crum, JC, Gold. Yeah, gold had a mental move. 300 ADR we did on gold. More than 300 ADR. It's 214 is ADR on gold. We did 750 this morning in 20 minutes. So this gold move this morning happened literally in 20 minutes. We had a bit of a joke in the live room this morning. Probably some cleaner in Barclays Bank came in this morning to do the cleaning of the desks. Some trader had left his PC on over the weekend. She obviously cleaned his keyboard and hit the buy button. Alarms went off. Trader woke up and went, shh, better sell it. So somebody in Barclays has made a lot of money. Either that or the cleaner is now sacked. But whoever did that this morning, it's completely undone. But yeah, nuts. No news about it. There's no reason for it. It's just gold went nuts. So yeah, balmy move. That's why I don't trade gold, because it does things like that for no reason. But I didn't get on it. Hi, Leo. Who's Leo? Gosh, who made a bank on gold? Not me. That's coming down. So basically, we've gone up 300 and something ADR. We've pulled back 1,046. So we've moved up 3.5 ADR and we've moved down 5 ADR. No idea. No idea. Loony moves. John got a new pair of shoes. Quite probably. Someone did. So we watched these indices today. They're very tricky. I'm in two minds as whether or not to trade them this afternoon. What big moves pre-market worry me, because if this is the market doing its daily move and using all its liquidity off the back of that oil news, you might find that we just do that now, in which case obviously it's just going to hedge everything. Or you're going to stop out and get whipsawed. If you're using the opening range breakout strategy with stop losses, you're just going to get chopped to pieces. However, these moves could just get exponentially accelerated when the market opens and they drive liquidity into it. So it's a difficult one today. Could go either way. We're at support on multiple indices at the minute. So it's a difficult one. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat today. So yeah, loads of ADRs. Most of these you wouldn't have got on today because they were off the back of the Swiss franc move. We'll have a quick look through them afterwards. All the RSIs today are all euro based. They were all 4 hours. These are the same extensions we had this morning. They've all played out. Yeah, so all the Swissies have bounced, but all the euros rather have bounced off of the move on Friday. But they are kind of coming back again. So very, very, very odd moves. Very odd moves at the moment. So we'll watch the open. We'll see where we go. Might not even get on some of these pre-markets because they might be quite big. I suppose we'll take the 5-minute ORBs today, won't we? Yeah. So probably going to take the 5-minute range breaks today. So hoping for some fast moves. DAX this morning was a straight in, straight out. Well, it wasn't actually. It was it depends on your broker. So this morning on the DAX, this account got hedged because you can just about see there that the lower that candle literally just got me in to the trade. Literally, the entry was the lower the candle to the pip. My other account, that didn't get triggered. So I was long only, which was lovely. I got 2R on that account this morning. This one got hedged. So the hedge exit today was at the highs. We watched the price action up here for orders to trigger, which they did. So we got out of the longs and got out the shorts as it dropped. And then it's gone literally nowhere today. So if you didn't get that move at the open, you didn't get any money today. Untriggered for some reason there. Stop loss is not untriggered there either. Definitely a liquidity thing. When we have these problems, it's definitely a liquidity thing. I don't get the orders. The EA, for some reason, doesn't manage to complete its script for some reason. When we get big, strong moves at the open like this, something stops the EA. And I'm sure it's just to do with the pipeline. We're just not getting ticks or something. Something weird going on. It's an MT4 thing, I think. Be interested to know if anybody's using this on MT5 as to whether they're getting a similar thing. So, Dow. Closing the Dow. TP hit on the Dow. I mean, it was literally 1 pip out. I'm not having that. I'm taking it. So out the Dow. Target hit over there. See, again, look. this account, yeah, hit TP automatically with the EA, right? Same broker, same everything. This account didn't hit TP. I had to manually close it. Same EA, same broker, same settings, everything exactly the same as the DAX. This one got hedged, that one didn't. That one hit TP, this one didn't. It's that close. This is why your back tests are never going to play out in real life, because it just doesn't work that way. Craziness. So with 3R on the Dow, 1R locked in on trailer. So guaranteed 4R return on the Dow today. Short on the NASDAQ, long on the S&P. So at least one of those is going to get hedged, because it's very unusual for them to go in different directions. However, saying that, if you look at Friday, the S&P on Friday screamed up. The NASDAQ on Friday did not. And the Dow had a big up day. Was it NASDAQ? Yeah, it was the NASDAQ that just didn't get that massive rally. So we will see. But I'd imagine this is going to get hedged in one way or the other. So if we get that one's obviously hit target and done. If that hits target and is done, and that one gets hedged, that one and that one pay for that one, done for the day. So it'd be lovely if we can get the S&P up 1R. That would really be a result this afternoon. Please. Need a quick rocket into there. Okay. Yeah, like that. That should sort us out. There we go. 2R guaranteed. Really at 4R on the Dow. Look at the Dow go. Completely undone that entire move we've had this morning. Gone. I'll just wait for this to hit target, and then I'll go and have a look at FX. Going to stop out on the Dow. Well, might do. So that NASDAQ will get hedged, basically, if this continues to rally. I'm just going to say, I'm just going to manually TP that. I think it might do it anyway on its own, because it's trailing now. There you go. So S&P target hit, trailing 1R. Trailing 1R on that as well. So 4R locked in there, 5R locked in there pretty much now, and we'll have a hedge on that one. So that's 16. Maybe we won't get hedged on the NASDAQ. Well, now, wouldn't that be perfect? TP, TP, flip and collapse, TP. Job done. That would be a good day, wouldn't it? Didn't get stopped out on the trailer there. So stopped out of the S&P, that's done, 700. Didn't quite get stopped out on that trailer. NASDAQ gone short now. Be a good day. JC, my MT5 was really slow to take off the stop loss. Lucky price open in the middle of the 10-minute range. Yeah, it's I don't know what it is. it's a lag. So if it's happening on MT5 as well, I would suspect it's more of a broker thing. It's to do with the way MT5 executes the code, isn't it? And when we're getting ticks and the volume coming through, they go stopped out on the Dow. That one's closed out as well, 760. Yeah, something weird. It's a really intermittent thing. And there's nothing you can do in the code, really. I can't move the line of code up that says delete stop loss because it comes straight after place the order. So it goes place the order, remove the stop loss. Next line. I can't do anything. I can't adjust anything to make it more robust in that respect because it literally is place the order, get rid of the stop. And it goes place the order, then it stops. And it goes, nah, don't want to do that. It's just weird, isn't it? I don't have a solution for that one. The solution is obviously not to use, well, the only solution really is to not use percentage of equity and to use fixed lot, because fixed lot doesn't use a stop loss. Because it doesn't need a stop loss because it's literally placing that. So there is no stop. Yeah. This one has to have a stop because you cannot use a percentage of equity without a stop because it uses the stop to calculate the distance to place the percentage of equity. Nothing you can do. You've got to have a stop loss. Right, so two clean breaks today, which is nice. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the NASDAQ. We'll come back to that in a minute. Right, so all of these euros, so RSIs today, these were all lit up at the 75 level today. We also had a couple more in there. I can't remember which they were, but they were only just. I think it was New Zealand, US. I think it was just about extended, or something. Something was just about extended. There was no hourlies today. There's still no hourlies. We had all the hourlies on Friday. So all of these H4s, as you can see, really nicely extended. All of them. So 4-hour RSI extensions below the 20s, basically. So I got in and out of some of these Friday, got in Friday and got out this morning on some of these, which were H1 RSI extensions and 5-minute reversal alerts. So Euro CAD, that was extended. That one's collapsing back down again now, mainly because the US dollar powering up, obviously powering up the Canadian dollar. Euro Swiss, so got out of that one completely today. I did an aggressive drawdown control on Friday here. So this was one of those was an aggressive drawdown control position. So, excuse me, I got out of the whole thing on Friday. Sorry, this morning. But that was an extension from Friday. There, you had an extension previously as well. Last week, Euro Pound. That was extended, still is extended. So we've just literally pushed up from that sideways so far today. Euro Yen was extended just about, not quite as much. Yen is still pushing today. And Euro New Zealand, so that was a quick in and out. So these ones I got in on Friday on the hourly RSI extensions. Or this morning, actually. Straight in, straight out. Some of these were this morning. Some of them were Friday, I think. Yeah, Euro Odd got into on Friday. That was the H1 M5, and then got out of that one there. Okay, propulsion gap's gone in on the S&P and the Dow. So very big propulsion gap there. That just kicked me out, that one. And the S&P. So if we're going to remain long, and the DAX as well, look at the DAX. Big move at the open on the US market there. So we're looking for that to hold, basically, if we're going to go long. NASDAQ, really not interested in going long today. So we got 2 wicks to the downside, but doesn't seem to be any interest in going long at all on that one. Obviously, all the indices at the moment massively extended to the upside. So we're waiting for a pullback on all of these at the moment. They're all absolutely exhausted. So this is the beginning of November, or rather the last couple of days of October. We haven't stopped. Literally have not stopped for the entire month. Straight up buying, no selling. So we are, as you can see, especially on the NASDAQ and the S&P, now entering back into a balance. So we're waiting to see if we break to the upside for the Santa rally or if we start the correction. Can't make its mind up at the moment, obviously, as you can see. So these are all really, really extended. All due, I think, a pullback, but indices have this knack of literally just not stopping. They just go. So we'll see. NASDAQ's really out of sync, though. Look at this strength of sellers in the NASDAQ compared to S&P and the Dow buying like crazy, and the DAX. I'll be very surprised if that NASDAQ doesn't get hedged today, but we'll see. So there's all your RSIs, all done. That was all we've got. There's nothing on the hourlies to look at today. Your ADRs today, a lot of these you wouldn't have been able to get into because they were too fast, the moves. So Aussie US, that one's just hit to the downside. You're not going to get a reversal alert on that one. That US dollar move, very, very strong. So there's your reversal alert on that one. You're going to struggle to get into that today. You'd need to kind of just take a price action entry on that. CAD Swiss, that one hit ADR this morning there. But because of the speed of the movement off the back of the Swiss franc interest rate drop, or inflation drop rather, the reversal alert was all the way back there. You didn't get a reversal alert, and you still haven't had one to the downside. It's just not triggered an entry, so you can't get into that one. You'd had to literally taken that bearish engulf. Well, it wasn't even a bearish engulfing, that bearish candlestick. You'd had to have gotten sort of there and hoped, really. So there was no entry on that one this morning. Euro odd. That one, again, you couldn't get into. That's the reversal alert. Look, so we had the move up. That was your entry short. So you're in it now if you're using the EA, but awful entry. Euro Swiss, same thing. Couldn't get in. Oh, no, that one you could get in, actually. There's ADR. So we pushed up into ADR. That's where I got out of all my longs. That was your entry short. So that actually was a nice M pattern reversal today. So that's the only one you would have got, really, and that's still going. Is that Swiss franc powering up or the euro dropping? Euro dropping, look, again. Euro New Zealand. So again, that was impossible to get into. That was your entry. There's your reversal alert, look. There's your ADR hit straight to the pip, but there was no reversal alert because the move was too fast. Pound odd. That wasn't too bad. Not a great entry. It's about quarter of an ADR, basically. But there's your entry. There's your M pattern. Pound Swiss. That, again, couldn't get into it. Look, just about to get the reversal alert, look. In 48 seconds. Yeah. So that is your last down candle there. Can't even see it, can you? It's behind my head. So that was the last down candle, the last batch of sellers before the news. We hit ADR. You're just about to get a reversal alert because the sellers have just taken control after that last attempt to go short. Useless. Can't get into it today. Sometimes these moves are just nuts. You can't do anything with them. Pound New Zealand. That was a very tight reversal this morning. So that one you would have got an entry on straight at ADR, straight off. And Pound US, obviously that one's been very erratic today. So you've just hit ADR 125 on that Pound US now. Your reversal alert is all the way up there. So it's absolutely miles away. You're going to struggle to get an entry on that. I'm just going to get out of this NASDAQ. Closing the shorts. The reason I'm closing this is look at this Dow, look at the DAX, look at the S&P. The NASDAQ's gone short. These three are totally disagreeing. I can't believe that is going to be able to get any strength to go short today. So I'm closing that out, just break even on it. These are so strong, these indices, and that I just think is going to pop. Because this is just rallying like a lunatic. Look at it, Dow. We're above 5R already on the Dow. Just not stopping. So I just can't believe that is going to do anything but rally in a minute. So I'm just getting out of the NAS. Might be wrong. It might come down, but I can't believe that is going to be able to drop with the rest of them going that nuts. So better to be safe than sorry. Seeing as I banked on 3 this morning. So pound US dollar. Yeah, so you're not going to get an entry on that. Your entry on that is going to be over half an ADR. Can't get in. Too violent. US dollar CAD. That's just hit ADR. You've just had the reversal alert on that. Look there. Loony. It's just, this market is just nuts at the minute. Literally nuts. And US dollar Swiss. So that one, you got the hit this morning at ADR. That was the last down candle before the high. So that was your reversal alert this morning. You didn't get it triggered. Propulsion gap held up. We've just pushed up, pulling back down again. Absolutely crazy. Market is so volatile and all over the place. Has been for the last 3 days, as you can see. Look, just like grindy, lunatic moves. Huge expansion in volume, but not gone anywhere. Look, yeah, this is where we opened on Thursday. That's where we are. Yeah, we've had 2 days, or 3 days really, of absolute lunatic moves. We haven't gone anywhere though. So just whipping like crazy at the moment. Excuse me. Still rallying. Bizarre moves. Very bizarre. Peter, with the problem you're having with placing order and removing stop loss in the EA, the way I code is to calculate the lot size based on the risk percentage over the pips to stop loss. You could do that. Yeah, it's not a big enough problem though. It happens once every couple of weeks, if that. New Zealand dollar CAD. Look at that. Right. Sideways. Forward again. Look at the volume expansion here. Huge volume suddenly got in from our tiny little days. But again, we've gone nowhere. These Canadian dollar and US dollar moves are just whippy. They're not really able to get any direction. So very, very odd. But yeah, that's RSI's flatlined. So nothing. Wow, look at this Dow. We've got another Friday coming. Look at it. And Thursday. So we're just about to hit ADR. So this hourly candle since the open, or rather half hour, is 204 points. 231 is ADR. So we've nearly done ADR literally in the last 15, 20 minutes. Huge volume coming in. But look at the NASDAQ. Totally stuck. If my chart would update. So NASDAQ, look, totally stuck. Can't get anywhere today. So either that is going to be right and this lot's all just going to collapse back down again, or that is just going to give up. These sellers that are trying to go short here are just going to give up and puke and all go long. But crazy. Look, still pushing down the NASDAQ. It's all good fun when it's like this, but no idea where it's going. Wise Morgan, US 30 moving up. December will be wild. I guess winter break. Well, you're very chatty, aren't you? Afternoon, Pot Gator. Right, so that's all I've got for you today, really. NASDAQ's melting, look. I'm done, basically. So TP's hit everywhere, banked. When you got anything else to look at, we've moves are all done, banked, won. Thank you very much. That is starting to melt now. We're at ADR though, so be careful with this NASDAQ short because we are sitting at ADR now, which is also this weekly low from 2 weeks ago. Then we've got that low from 3 weeks ago. So we've got this whole area here, which is basically the top of the propulsion move, which is potential support somewhere between here and 125, 135 ADR. Could potentially be a little bit of a bounce point. But if we are going to start the pullback, we could see 200 ADR easy to the downside. But the fact that these other indices are just rallying like loonies at the moment, it's kind of impossible to make any sense of this NASDAQ move. So I'm glad I'm out of it today. See, it's struggling to go low here. Yeah, so we tried to push down, failed. Tried to push down, failed. Tried to push down, couldn't make a new low. Buyers then pushed back up. Tried to push down, buyers pushing up. There's a hell of a lot more buy pressure in this at the moment. There is sellers. And obviously being dragged along by these moves that we're seeing on these at the moment. So just get the feeling that's going to pop at any minute. Don't really want to be short. But we'll see. 5.5%. Very nice. Has anybody got any other pairs they want to have a look at? Because I've kind of covered everything I need to cover today. I said in the live room this morning, I'm getting kind of close to wanting to wind down at the moment. I've got very little drawdown on. This sort of time of year, I tend to start turning the EA off and sort of managing these positions manually and just trying to get flat for Christmas, because I usually have 2 or 3 weeks off at Christmas. So I don't want to get into tons and tons of new positions, which I've got to manage all over the holiday period, because you get lots of light liquidity, lots of slippage, and it's very difficult to trade over Christmas. So we tend to find this week and next week is really all that you're going to get. The week after, you'll find there won't be anything. So if you look at the calendar, this week is fairly decent news. Next week, you've got lots of news. And then when you come into this final week, obviously the Friday before Christmas, you've got a few bits of news in there. We've got unemployment claims and PCE and that. We've got the CPI figures for the Canadian dollar. But it kind of all peters out. So the liquidity starts to drop off this week because a lot of the banks and institutions will take this week off. So this is why you have light liquidity. It all goes a little bit slow. So I try not to trade this week. So ideally, and this never happens, but ideally, I want to be flat by the 15th so that I can just basically take 3 weeks off, come back in January. So I'm just trying to, I'm hoping what we're going to get is some really good, strong US dollar rallies. And the Australian rates come out tomorrow morning as negative. So they drop their rates back down to 4.1 because that'll collapse the Aussie. So I can get out of these Aussie positions. And then the US rallies on unemployment claims this week, which gets me out of all my US exposure. Then I've just got to deal with my Euro stuff. Perfect. That would be absolutely spot on for me. But we'll see. Thoughts on the Euro Swiss? So Euro Swiss I got out of this morning. So this was an H1 RSI extension from back here. So we got extended here as we broke out of this balance. It absolutely collapsed. Then we had negative news last week from Wiseman saying that they're not going to increase interest rates anymore. They are at terminal rate, and the chances are that they're going to put interest rates down faster. So we've banked 1.25% drop on interest rates next year, or rather that's what the market's predicting. So obviously that's weakening the euro. So the euro is a short. So I got out my longs this morning. So you can take it long, obviously. I mean, just, that was a long there. Out, done. So if it pushes down hard, you can still get out, but you are going to be counter trend any longs that you take on the euro moving forward. So I'd be a bit careful with your longs on it. Just starting to retrace on the indices. So Dow pulling back a little bit. S&P pulling back a little bit. So just watch these propulsion moves for support. This has just gone nowhere. Look, dead. DAX back in support. Not that that really gets impacted as much, but so I'll be looking for longs. Shorts on euros ideally, but you know the thing with everything at the moment, everything is teetering around these interest rates at the minute. So we're waiting for basically the central banks to decide when they're going to drop interest rates. So every piece of negative news that you get is negative, because the market's sort of, it's like you're sitting here waiting to hit the sell button. You're just waiting for that news that, yeah, this is coming down. It's all driven by this. So as this comes down faster than expected, we expect them to press the button on this faster. And as soon as they press the button on that, this is going down. Yeah. So it's just everybody's waiting for that move. So when you get people like the Euro, the ECB coming out and saying, barring any massive shocks, we're done with interest rates, we're not going above 4.5, there is only one thing you can do, drop it. And if you're going to drop it, it's going to devalue your currency. That's it. There is nowhere else to go. But we're typically waiting for the US to do it first. They're usually the first. They're the leaders. They first put it up. They first take it down. Theirs is getting close to where they want to start putting the brakes on, because if they don't, they're going to go into disinflation, and that's bad. So that needs to start coming down early next year. We're talking May at the moment. I would say probably January, February, you want to start thinking about telling us this is coming down, because this comes down much too fast, you're going to be in trouble. So you'll find everything will become a sell. And it's the case of when you're trading FX, because you've got two currencies, which is the bigger sell, is the one that's going to work. So if the Aussies come out and say, we're not done with interest rates yet, we may even have one more rise, and Euro come out and say, we're done with interest rates, we ain't going up, the Euro odd is coming down. There's nowhere else it can go. Yeah. If the Aussies come out and say, we're going to start dropping our interest rates probably faster than we put them up, you've got a short against a short. So it's whoever is shorter on the day is going to make the move. You know, it becomes very difficult with these interest rate rises and what we're going to see coming in 2024 with the drops. It's very hard to predict anything, because it's like a balancing act of keeping inflation and interest rates at the right speed so you don't go up or down too fast. So it's going to be very tough. Again, 2023 was very tough. 2024 is not going to get any easier. We will see. So yeah, I'd be more interested in selling everything euro. So euro Swiss down, and specifically with the euro Swiss as well, because the euro and the Swiss move together. If you get any negative moves on the Swiss franc, i.e. we get some positive moves coming on some other currency, they'll pull money out of the Swiss to drive it into the other currency. So you get double drop, if you like, on euro Swiss. It can move a lot more erratically. If you go and look at these moves, yeah, it can be very violent compared to other currencies. I mean, look at that, for example. It will bounce. It will bounce back. You know, come up and do these propulsion gaps. It always does. Look. This is the beauty of the propulsion gap indicator. Look, it comes back, does all these propulsion gaps, all these ones made on the way up here, all got done. All these ones made on the way down, we'll come and do some of those. Might not do them all, but we'll do some of them. This is what retracements are. But yeah, I'd rather be short than long. Do people often tell you you're very unintentionally funny? No. How do you know it's not unintentional? How do you know I'm not a comedian and this is just a joke channel? No, no one's told me that. What did I say that was unintentionally funny? I was probably trying to be intentionally funny. What you should say is, why are you trying to be so intentionally funny, but you're not funny? That's probably what is more accurate, rather than me being unintentionally funny. Hey, it's a boring job. You've got to inject some fun into it somewhere, haven't you? We sit here looking at candlesticks going up and down for hours. That's the job. You're very chatty. You're very chatty, aren't you? Oh, right, yeah, that Wise Morgan. It's when I see people coming into... One thing you'll learn if you ever do this and like pass it on like I am, yeah? So I've been taught by mentors over the decades, and I'm passing on what I've learned. When you start passing on what you've learned, you realize that 90% of the people that come into your channel and your Telegram group are trying to either rip everybody off or sell something. Somebody comes into the chat with the name Wise Morgan with a logo of WM. They're not here for any other reason than to try and sell something, are they? They're from Wise Morgan, whoever Wise Morgan are. And it's just like you just look at people and you just think, well, you're very chatty because you're talking now as if you're an analyst and you know more about the market than everybody else. So therefore, I have to ignore you because you don't know which way it's going. If you did, you would be working in a central bank. You're not. You're watching a YouTube channel. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but anybody that's making a decent amount of money in this industry ain't watching YouTube. They're trading. Or they're wanting to learn, which is why I have transitionary people in the group. I have people that come in here and they're very vocal and they're with me for ages and then all of a sudden they disappear. Because they've learned, now they're doing. Job done. That's the job, isn't it? Teach people how to make money. Sorry, I was looking at something in Telegram just come in. Pound yen, Aussie yen, ADR. Sorry if I was being intentionally funny then. It's one of those days. I've just had an espresso. That's probably why. Aussie dollar yen coming down, pound yen coming down, euro yen coming down. Massive buying in the yen at the moment. This thing's mental at the minute. Markets all over the place. Want to be selling everything against the yen as well at the moment because if that US dollar drop is going to start, the yen is going to start to power up. It's going to start to undo this massive rally we've had this year. So this is all going to start to come back down as the US dollar drops. The Japanese yen will power up. So they want to be selling everything against the yen going into 2024, I should suspect. NASDAQ's stuck. Totally stuck. Look. Not going anywhere at the moment on that one. So I'm done for the day on that. That's all I've got for you today. There's literally nothing else to look at. So yen's all coming down very, very, very hard. You've got some support coming up on some of these as well. So you might well get bounces. The one I just saw. What did I just see? I just flicked through. It must have been the Aussie. Yeah. Aussie yen just coming down into weekly support potentially at ADR. So potential pullback on that before new leg. Yeah, as I say, I'm going to probably turn off the EA. I'm going to wait and see what happens with the Australian dollar. If we get a big move on the Aussie to the downside tomorrow on the interest rates, which I think we probably will, even if they come out as expected, we're probably going to get interest rates. The Aussie dollar drop because if it's not positive news, it's usually considered negative at the moment. So if we can get these two into a decent exit point tomorrow, it's literally going to leave me with Euro and US exposure. And I'll probably just try and manage that out over the next couple of weeks and, take a 5%, 6% month or something in December because it is a short month. I'm not expecting to make a fortune in December. Don't normally. Look at what I did in January last year. Yeah, January wasn't great either. So January is obviously a little tricky as well because you're starting a new year. You've got end of quarter moves all finished in December. We're coming out the back of a Santa rally. No one's got any idea where anything's going. So it's the usual confusion. When you're saying you're taking time off, does that mean no lives? Yeah, there won't be any lives on because I won't be trading. There's no point. This last week before Christmas. So Christmas is on falls on a Monday, doesn't it? Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah. So Christmas falls on a Monday. If Christmas falls in the week, Thursday, Friday or something, that is dead. If Christmas falls early on a Monday, you usually find this week before is dead. Banks and institutions, they save up their holiday and they take it all around Christmas. Usually most banks are taking 3 or 4 weeks off at Christmas. So you tend to find the market really slows. It doesn't necessarily slow. You still get a lot of movement. There's a lot of algorithmic, there's a lot of commercial movement going on, but the speculative movement isn't there. Because there's no speculative movement there, you tend to get a lot of slippage. So when they have to fill orders, you have to go further to get it. You get big candlesticks, big moves, but they're like that. You can't really trade it because there's no price action that tells you anything. It's just movement up and down, which is, you get a lot of rotation days. So the market, weird, all terminals disconnect at the same time then. I am still on, and so yeah, we just find loads of rotation. So I try and take as much time off as Christmas as I can. You can't get this kind of banter anywhere else. I'm sure you can. When am I back? On the 7th? Might be back on the 3rd. Probably on the 3rd of January will be. I'm not going anywhere yet, by the way. So if you're looking at this thinking, oh, he's shutting up shop, I am still here this week and next week. Unless I get really flat, and then I might take a couple of extra weeks off. But yeah, Wednesday the 3rd, I'll be back because it's non-farm payroll week. So we will get a lot happening this week. This week will be big. So yeah. So that, you know, that period there. So if you look at the calendar, this week, probably very, very quiet. Then we've got Christmas. Yeah. Then the market reopens Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Nothing happens there. So you've got to take that week off. Yeah. You've got to take most of that week off and the week before. So literally you get 2.5 weeks off where there's just no point trading. You can't do anything. So, and I kind of judge it really by ear. You know, if I sit here all week this week and the market does that, and then on Monday next week it does that, and Tuesday next week it does that, I'll just go, screw it, we're done, because it's not going anywhere. So either you just start trading the ranges and do other things like Moody's just said, backtest, go and do strategy development, backtesting, other stuff. Because invariably what will happen is you'll go and try and take a range short, and that will be the one where it spikes ridiculously high because there's no liquidity. Then you go, oh, I'll get out of that trade, and then it suddenly flies back down to here, and you try and go long, and it goes like that, and the range is just all over the place. It literally is. It's imagine a bank sitting at that high there, wanting to execute 10 million short. A bank getting up here with 5 million long, right? That will suddenly eat that 5 million and need to fill its other 5 million. The other 5 million might be sitting down there. So that order there will go all the way down to there just to get that one order placed. And then it will go quiet. And that is just going to happen in literally 30 minutes. And it's just awful. It's just slippage. It's just large order slippage. Because remember what they do. They get like a 20 million order, and they split it into 20 1 million blocks. Yeah. If you've got that order to place and you put that 1 million in, you might have to go to there to get that 1 million filled, whereas normally you'd fill it there. You've got to get there to get it. And then if you want to get the next one done, you've got to go to there, the next one to there. Then you might hit a 5 million block and you'll be able to get 5 of it done. But you've got to go all the way up there just to get half your order filled in a bank. It's a nightmare. This is why they take it off, because you can't trade with nobody wanting to take the other side, and I mean other banks, because they're not there. They're all getting drunk, or they're all in Barbados before Christmas. Euro Swiss 125 ADR. That's coming down to monthly support. We looked at this one this morning, watching this level at 175. for a potential bounce because we haven't really done a profit take on that move yet. So we're looking for a bounce back. So this is getting close now to that level, which is that previous monthly low, which is 175 ADR. So watch that for a bounce back up into, probably back up into here. But again, counter trend, euro. A bit careful with the euro. I've got a hedge on at the moment on it. So propulsion gap is holding on the US indices. Potentially. DAX is held as well. NASDAQ still not gone anywhere. Very glad I got out of that. If you haven't got out of it, you've got an option to get out of it. So I'd probably jump ship if I were you. He says just as it collapses to ADR. Come on, John Wick, wild swimming and the 8-ball. Yeah. You got to keep it entertaining. Like I said, there's nothing else to do. I even made a video, didn't I, about a joke. About my my secret trading strategy. How many people are in it? 76. Some people might not know this one. So I'll put a little link. If you don't know this, this is a secret trading strategy. Okay. Don't tell anybody. In fact, you've seen it play out today. But don't tell anybody. You've got to do things like that. Otherwise, it's so boring, this job. You had some plans for educational content in the new year. Yeah, so basically what I was planning to do in the new year was kind of move over to a sort of structure where we do a specific thing every day. So kind of like delivering the boot camp. But Mondays will be about this, Tuesdays about this, Wednesdays about this, Thursdays about this, Fridays about this, so on and so forth. And probably over about a 3-week cycle. So after we get to the end of 3 weeks, we've done it all, we go back to week 1 and just keep going like that. Kind of like a live boot camp, if you like. But I've got to write all the content for it. And that's my problem, is trying to find the time to get it all down on paper. And when I take time off, invariably, that's when I tend to do that sort of stuff. So I might try. I've got to plan it. I can't just take all the bootcamp content because it doesn't make any sense the way that's done. I need to rewrite new stuff. Starting from scratch, you know, things like brokers. I get asked all the time in Telegram, which broker should I use? To me, it's like, well, just use the obvious one. But people don't know, do they? You know, I remember when I started out and I was looking for a broker, I was scared to death. I've got to give this guy $1,000 of my money, or £1,000 of my money. Back then, it was 1,000 I was looking to put in. And I was like, that's a lot of money to put with some bloke I don't know. So, you know, it's just, to me, it's obvious what brokers you should and shouldn't be using. But to people starting out, so, you know, doing a day or a session, only half an hour, brokers. Let's talk about brokers. How do they work? How do they make money? Who should you look for? What should you look for? What can you do? What can't you do? What platforms? Because not everybody wants to trade on MT4. What platforms are out there to trade on? What's the advantages, the disadvantages? Session on back testing. There's all sorts of stuff. You know, VPSs, how to set up a VPS, all the basic stuff. How to use MT4. People still ask me, how do you hide the thingy over here? Look. Prices. I get asked all the time, how do you do that? Because every time I do it, it does this. I can't get it to hide these columns. You can't hide those columns. You have to turn off auto arrange, and then they vanish. It's silly little things like that, which to me are just obvious, but we need a course on it, don't we? We need, because some people don't know. I didn't know that at some point. How do you people still say, when you click on that, how do you get it to suddenly appear? I'm not clicking, I'm actually clicking and dragging. But I do it so fast, you don't even see it. It's like magic, but I need to explain these things. So that's what I was going to do, is every day we'll have a session on stuff. But it will just be repeating. So I'll literally be like a broken record. Every month, I'll be repeating the same content over and over again. Obviously, we'll do all the analysis, we'll do all the trading, but we'll have half an hour of delivering the same thing over and over and again. And if you don't want to listen to it, you disappear. We do the analysis first, the trading first, and then we do the education. If you don't want the education bit, you can go. But also then I can snip all the education bits out and say every live room will have a how to set up MT4. So be the New York live room plus how to set up MT4. So each of them will be, you can go and see in the live streams on YouTube, I want to know about this. And obviously I can then send people to those videos as well, which would be good. Can I do the yen pairs? I can. That was 1 pip away from hitting TP and went down and took your trailer. Mine hit 5R over there. This one didn't. Oh, wrong one. Your TP must have been massive. 5R TP was there, but that's what trailers are there for. Still made money. So the yen pairs, yeah, I mean, basically the yen should be powering up from now. So we've gone through a phase with the yen of massive weakness across the board. Even the weak currencies like the Australian dollar have been rallying against the yen. Yeah, so the yen is due the mother of all pullbacks. Basically some power up. So as the US has been rallying and strong, the yen has been weak. As the US weakens and the other currencies weaken, the yen will get strong. So it might take a while, though, for that actually to happen. So we might just go into an accumulation for a bit until we get those first interest rate changes, which we haven't got any confirmation on when they're going to happen yet. So I'd be looking to short everything against the yen at the moment. So short every pullback, basically. Yeah, so any RSI extensions to the upside, short. Much more chance of getting shorts on hourlies. Yeah, so short. You can see I've been shorting it. But yeah, so any pullbacks we get, which are nice deep pullbacks above RSI, you're shorting those. Any ADR hits to the upside. But that's as it stands at the moment, yeah? And the Fed could come out at any moment and say, actually, we might have to put the interest rates up again. We had it last week, didn't we? They came out and said, interest rates going up or going down, one or the other. I can't remember which it was. And then 8 minutes later, another member of the Fed came out and said completely the opposite. So the market just went like that and then like that. Any second, this could change the outlook on this, especially at the moment. We're in a weird situation with interest rates, aren't we? So NASDAQ broke down at the end of the day. Look, did manage to get down. So that was actually a lot of selling pressure there. Propulsion gap's gone on the S&P. The Dow is holding at the moment, but that is actually broken short. So if I'd have held that, I'd be 1.5 R now on the way to target. Look, that was TP, 2R. Shame, I should have held it, but not after moves like that. I mean, no one in their right mind would think that that is going down when these two are flying up 5R. It's just not the norm, is it? What is the norm? Not going to lie, I tried so many times to get rid of the buy ask in Market Watch, but never wanted to ask. I know, it took me ages to figure it out. The amount of times I'd gone like that, and then it just like, but how do other people do it? I've seen other people. Theirs doesn't. Like, where's the hide? I can hide these. Yeah, I can show these and hide these. I can do all of this, but why can't I get rid of the bid and the ask? The auto arrange. Obviously, it makes no sense to call it auto arrange. Well, it does, because that's what it does. It auto snaps to grid. It should be called, shouldn't it? Not auto arrange, but you know, these obvious things that I know because I know, but you don't realize, you know, when you've been trading for such a long time, how much you know until someone asks you a question. You're like, you don't know that. Why would you know that? No one's ever told you. So, courses on basics like, the measuring tool. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, I see you on the live room and you suddenly have this crosshair appear and you measure pips. How do you do that? You press the middle mouse button or the mouse wheel. I just know that. So many people just don't know that. It's like, how many pips is this move today? Oh, it's gone 24. I can do that using this little tool, but people don't know it. It's this up here, look, crosshair. But shortcut is mouse middle wheel. Silly things like that. We need a lesson on it. Course name, Basics to Lambo, A to Z. Yeah, that's about it. How to open an MT4 terminal. How to open a chart. Saving a template, yeah? I get asked this all the time. I've put everything on my template. I've opened a new chart. All my indicators have disappeared. I have to add them all on again, over and over again. It's like, no, you just save them as a template. Oh. People don't know that. It's obvious to me because I've been doing it for years, but people don't know it. Except for Swiss yen, that will probably keep pushing since you're short on it. Yeah, probably. So basically everything's going to come down against the yen unless you are short, then it will go up. That's the way the market works. It knows, So yeah, I'll be looking at things like that. But I need to put, for me to put together a list of all those things I just spoken about will take me an hour to put the list together, and then it will take me half an hour to plan it. And if you've got to do 30 of those lessons in a month, I'm going to be working on it for hours and for days and days and days, trying to get the content together, because I'm going to need slides to explain some stuff. You can't just draw everything on a chart like that, because you can't. You've got to have slides and information about stuff as well. Maybe you don't. Pound CAD. So this Canadian dollar is really motoring at the moment. Huge buys coming through on the CAD. On both directions on that at the moment. So US dollar and the Canadian dollar pushing equally, look, at the moment. And again, things like that. So what I've just done there, to me, is obvious. Yeah? If I see an ADR hit and I look at something like the CAD Swiss and I see this going up, the question is, why is this going up? It's either because the Canadian dollar is pushing or the Swiss franc is dropping. How do you find out which one it is? Yeah. So if I look at the US dollar CAD, I can tell you that the US dollar and the Canadian dollar are both pushing at the same time, because neither of these are moving. The indices just absolutely collapsed. Dow's broken out the shorts. The S&P has broken out the shorts. Big order just coming to the downside on everything. It's not news. It's just big order just coming. Things like that. It's like you can tell if there's a big move going on the Aussie. You can tell whether it's the Aussie or the New Zealand causing it, as to whether or not, if you look at Aussie New Zealand, if this is pushing up, the Aussie is stronger than the New Zealand. It's obvious, isn't it? But when you see things like that, pound CAD's coming down. What's causing it? Yeah, you can look at different pairs and you can say, right, Euro CAD coming down. So it's definitely the Canadian dollar rallying, isn't it? If you look at the Aussie CAD, that's coming down as well. So it's definitely not the pound. Silly things like that, which is obvious when you're looking at the market as a whole. But it's all sorts of stuff you need to know that you just take for granted, and you can't cover it all. This is why there's lots of courses out there that all cost you thousands of pounds and teach you the same thing. One that racked my brain was arranging charts in alphabetical order and keeping them that way after reboots. Yeah, that is a thing. And they don't go in the way you think they would. So to organize these in this order, yeah, so it's you can't see down there, but it's NASDAQ, NASDAQ, DAX, S&P, Dow. So it goes that. So if you want them to appear in that order every day, you need to make sure that you've got the little windows at the bottom dragged into the order you want them to appear to in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. It took me ages to do. I put them in the order, shut the terminal down, open them up again. The DAX is up there. The NASDAQ's down there. And I'm like, why? That's not the order I put them in when I shut you. It's because it's the order the tabs appear in. Top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. Trial and error for many years trying to figure things like that out. Aussie CAD, Canadian dollar going nuts. This will be on the oil news. So this will be the US buying up all the oil. Be interesting to see what oil's doing. Yeah, big rally on oil. That's what's helping the Canadian dollar. Obviously, oil exports make the CAD rally. The mouse wheel. You did not know that one. Yeah, see, mouse wheel. Clever, isn't it? Aussie US. US dollar rallying hard as well. Everything coming down against the US dollar. So big strong push on US, big strong push on CAD. And to find out which one is the stronger, look at the US dollar CAD. Neither of them. They're both as strong as each other. What if I already have the Lambo? What's the next stage? Well, if you've already got the Lambo, so if you're going from beginner to Lambo and you've already got the Lambo, it's private jet. And then after private jet is, ask Greg Secker, he knows. But Greg Secker didn't go Lambo. He went Rolls Royce, private jet, then mansion, then holiday home while swimming. So there's an order of things. If you want to know how your wealth will increase in monetary terms and owning things which are expensive, go to do Greg Secker's course because he's got them all. He's got everything. Eye makeup, I think that comes fairly low down. Eye makeup first, then expensive car, then jet, then mansion. I think it's the fact that I can keep a deadpan face when I say things like that. That's why people think it's funny. I'm not joking. He really does make all his money out of selling education. Yeah, massive move on oil. My broker's chart hasn't updated, but look at this. So this move on gold today, 1,200 pips. That's 5 ADR up and down today on this thing. No idea why. You know what's happened? The cleaner that pushed the button this morning, she's come back at lunchtime and done the desks at lunch, and she's pressed the other one, hasn't she? It's a broker in London. He's gone on holiday already for Christmas. His cleaner. This is why you cannot predict which way the market's going. Why does it do that? Absolutely no reason, is there? It's not US dollar, is it, doing it? This is a cross with the US dollar. You know what this could be? Market getting rid of all their gold because they're about to lift sanctions on Russia or something. All sorts of reasons why that would move, but just sorted the market watch, 15 years, never knew yet. Yeah, you can pull these around in order, look. Did you know you can hide them from here as well? Hide them all and show them all and hide individual ones and access the symbol market and everything from there. Market Watch does all sorts of stuff you don't know about. It's very clever, you know. No matter the trade's history is unchecked. No matter MT5, no matter the trade history is unchecked in a template, it will come up. Yeah, this is why you don't use MT5. What they did was they get all the good things about MT4. They made MT5 and then went, all that good stuff we've spent years developing in MT4. Let's put it all back to where it was before we started making all the changes. And then we'll release updates to introduce bugs and break everything. Why did MT5 not take off? It's bizarre, isn't it? And teeth, Greg does teeth too. Does it? Oh, yes, he does do teeth, doesn't he? Oh, look at that smile. Lovely. Yeah, eye makeup and teeth. And yachts. I forgot yachts. Sorry. Lambos, yachts, jets, mansions. That's the order. Completely forgot the yachts. Nah, just looked out the window. It is still a Panda. Oh, your car. I was like, what? Fiat Panda. Yeah. It's when you look out your window and upgrade it to a new Fiat Panda, that's when you want to start worrying. Aspirations need to go up a little. If it wasn't for the cleaner, we'd know exactly where the market was going. Yes. Yeah, Whipping Post has just come up with a good one. Hitting the plus and minus is zoom. Did you know that? Zooming. Plus and minus on your keyboard. Clever, isn't it? I always use, well, you see me, I use the, I don't know what I use actually to zoom most of the time. I just do stuff. This is the thing. It's just you get used to a platform. You just kind of do stuff to it, don't you? But I still use the plus and minus buttons. I don't know why. Mainly because my hand is on my mouse and the plus and the minus button. I could actually make these other buttons because I've got a gaming mouse. There's 7,000 buttons, and I literally use 2. Could actually. I wonder what they're. I'm not going to press them because they're probably buy and sell. How do you add a color to your P&L figure in the balance window? You can't. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can. Can you? Can you add a color to this? Don't think you can. You might be able to in MT5 or something. New Zealand US ADR, this US dollar, absolutely kicking ass today. I might be able to go flat today for Christmas, you know. Towel, please. Damn it, I just cleaned the command center. Yes, Brian's got a very big command center now. Brian's got the biggest monitor in the world ever. And more worrying than anything, it's hanging above his head. Which is, you can't even fit it on the screen, look. Which is quite worrying. So if that monitor there falls off, this is Brian. He's got bad fingers because he's done by AI. So that's Brian. If that little screw there drops, Brian's dead. Are you really that blind? Seriously. If I had a monitor that big, mind you, saying that I have got a monitor that big, it's just sitting right in front of me. It's not quite that big though. Mine's 49, I think. That's more like a 60, isn't it? I don't know. That's a big monitor. Impressive monitor though. I used to have that. When I had 6 monitors on my last setup because I thought that you needed to have everything on every monitor to be able to trade, because I thought if I could see everything, it would suddenly make everything make sense. It doesn't, just confuses the hell out of you if you look at everything. This is why I look at one chart. I can only do one thing at a time, and therefore I only need to see one thing at a time, unless it's the indices. But I used to have a TV with Bloomberg on, And I thought, I'm a trader. I can now watch the financial news while I'm trading. And then I realized it was always muted and I had no idea what they were talking about. So I took that telly down. Useless. Flip a coin, press buy, press sell, deal with it. That's literally trading. Doesn't matter how many monitors you have, what you're watching. Not going to help. I wonder if it's possible to display the P&L in percentage of account instead of dollar amounts. Well, that's why I built the dashboard, because I need to see that, not what they give you in the terminal. That's what the dashboard's there for, because they don't produce the information in a readable format. If I've got six trades on, I need to know what's the total of those six, not sort them by, it's like, come in here, these are my open positions, sort them by symbol. There's my $2 Swisses. So that is 780-ish. I just need to know. You can't, this thing's useless. Useless. You can in MT5, just wondered if NT4 had an option. Yeah, no, you can't. You can't do anything in MT4 like that. That's the thing. That's why MT5 came out, because MT5 uses a completely different graphical user interface. It's all graphic orientated. Like MT4, even if you haven't got a graphic card, that won't change the difference in MT4 performance, because MT4 has no GUI. Apart from this chart, there's no complex graphical thing going on. MT5 was built so that it could do all sorts of weird and wonderful extra graphic stuff. So it uses your GPU rather than your CPU, which is what MT4 uses. This is why MT5 struggles, because it only uses one CPU and your GPU. Yeah, your GPU does an awful lot of other stuff, and it's just using all the PC resources wrong. They just dropped the ball basically with it. But they made it so that you can change the color of your P&L. Really useful. The size of your monitor is directly correlated to the size of your account. Yes, that's another thing. So that is true. Oh my God. Look. See? So it goes car, monitor first, right? Monitor, car, boat, plane, then mansion. So that's the first. So when you're successful, the first thing you do is you get the biggest possible monitor you can see. You will also notice the fact that he wears glasses, because it doesn't matter how big that monitor is, you still can't bloody read it. You can tell it's boring and I've made all my money today, can't you? Because I'm just talking crap. 55-inch, bolted onto the rafter. Yeah. So hopefully it doesn't pull your roof down. Got the DOM in the left screen as well. Very good. That does it. I'm ordering a projector. Yeah. And he has a helicopter, probably. He's helicoptered into the races. So there's one advert he did for his courses where he got a helicopter into Ascot races. And if you're going to fly a helicopter into Ascot races, the last thing on your mind is, hang on, let me just get my cameraman so I can shoot an advert for trading. Really? I suppose that is how he makes his money. So it's probably exactly what he needs to do, isn't it? So. Anyway, we'll stop talking about Greg Secker. If you want to learn how to trade, Google Learn to Trade. Got a good course. Right, I'm going to leave it there. So basically, this is the main news tomorrow is Aussie dollar. So be aware of that tomorrow morning. Anything you've got bankable for the Aussie. So, for example, I will be banking those two down here before the end of the day, assuming that they are still in profit, obviously. because I cannot get those back. So if the Australian dollar rallies, these will turn into negatives. Can't get them back. I can put them down there and use them. And if the market goes my way, all of these red ones will turn green. So it's a win-win situation. Bank what you can bank ahead of the news. If it goes your way, bank the rest of it. If it doesn't go your way, you can add these positions back on and bank them again later. Yeah, so just make sure if you've got any Aussie or New Zealand exposure as well, because the New Zealand dollar will move off the back of the Aussie. Bank that before the news. If you want to break even, you can do. Obviously, you just don't let them go into drawdown. There's no point in letting a profitable trade turn negative on a news event when you know the news event is coming. So that's 12:30 tomorrow morning UK. Sorry, no, it's not. I'm on the wrong day. That is 3:30 tomorrow morning. We've also got CPI for the yen. Although it is an orange news event, the yen, if it's a big hit or miss, that will potentially move the yen. So we could come in tomorrow morning and we'll find ADRs all over the place hit on the Aussies, the New Zealand and the Japanese pairs. So just be aware of all that overnight. And then we've got PMIs tomorrow afternoon, half an hour after the market open. So be aware of all that lot. Yeah, that's really it for today. Euro US dollars coming back into profit. So if that US dollar can continue this rally today, I might be able to get out of the Euro US shorts. I've already banked that. So I've taken 2 of those off already and banked. So this break even that I've got here is basically just exiting those 2. So those are the profitable ones and these 2 are just going to break even. So in fact, I'm going to do that now. There's no point in letting this go. We're 125 ADR. So I'm not looking to make money on these 2. I'm looking to get out of the Euro US. Okay. So I've just moved that down there basically and gone flat because that whole position is done and profitable. So yeah, so that's all I've got to worry about is so a drop on the Aussie tonight would be fantastic. A continuation rally on the US would be fantastic, and for the euro to unwind would also be fantastic. Then I'm done, basically. So unless we get any RSI extensions on the hourlies, and then I'll obviously be getting into some more positions. So, but I will be monitoring. I hate taking new positions this close to Christmas, just in case. But if it looks good, the EA is going to get me into them anyway. But if it looks good, I'll keep it. If not, I'll probably scrap it. Just don't want to be sitting over Christmas having to look at the monitor a couple of times a day. It's just a pain in the backside. Right, that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50 for the Frankfurt session as usual. I'll be back 2:20 tomorrow afternoon for New York. If you did hold that NASDAQ short, well done. I didn't, but I should have. But I didn't. But banked on the rest anyway, so that would have been well, it is a 4 out of 4, isn't it? Because I banked $21. So yeah, so it's a good day today on the indices and good day on the FX as well. So all right, so have a good one. I'll be back tomorrow, same times as usual. Anything you need, I'll be in Telegram. Other than that, have a good afternoon and I'll see you guys tomorrow.